The air in the bedroom felt like it was choking me, thick with the scent of his cologne and something else, something foreign like cheap jasmine perfume. I stood frozen, my fingers clutching the edge of Matt's jacket, the one he'd tossed over the chair last night. A faint smudge of pink lipstick stained the collar, a color I'd never worn. My stomach twisted, a cold blade of dread slicing through the fog of my denial. It wasn't possible. Not Matt. Not us. We'd been married 7 years, our life a tapestry of quiet routines. Coffee on the porch, his hand brushing mine as we washed dishes, the way he'd hum off-key to old jazz records. But lately, the threads of that tapestry had started to fray. He'd been distant, his eyes skittering away from mine, his phone always face down. I told myself it was work stress, the late nights at the firm, the new client he mentioned too casually. But that lipstick, it wasn't a client's. It was a woman's. I dropped the jacket like it burned, my heart hammering so loud it drowned out the hum of the radiator. My mind raced, replaying every moment I'd ignored. The faint floral scent on his shirts, the way he'd linger in the shower, scrubbing himself raw. I'd laughed it off, teased him about his new cologne obsession. God, I'd been so blind. Or maybe I'd wanted to be. I sank onto the bed, the mattress creaking under my weight, and stared at the jacket. Part of me wanted to rip it to shreds, to scream until the walls shook. Another part, a quieter, more desperate part, wanted to pretend I hadn't seen it. To fold the jacket neatly, tuck it away, and keep our life intact. But the truth was a splinter under my skin, impossible to ignore. I needed answers. The front door clicked open downstairs, and my breath caught. Matt was home early. His keys jangled as he tossed them onto the counter, the sound sharp and careless. "Lila," he called, his voice warm like nothing was wrong. Like he hadn't been carrying someone else's scent on him. I stood, my legs trembling, and grabbed the jacket. My hands shook as I descended the stairs, each step a countdown to something I wasn't ready for. He was in the kitchen, loosening his tie. His dark hair mussed from the wind. He smiled when he saw me, but it faltered when his eyes landed on the jacket. "Lila, what's—" He stopped, his gaze locking on the pink smudge. His face changed, a flicker of something, guilt, fear, before he smoothed it away. "You okay?" I held up the jacket, my voice barely a whisper. "Whose lipstick is this, Matt?" He froze, his hand halfway to the fridge. The silence stretched, heavy and suffocating, like the moment before a storm breaks. "What are you talking about?" he said finally, his tone too casual, too practiced. He stepped closer, reaching for the jacket, but I yanked it back. "Don't," I snapped, my voice cracking. "Don't lie to me. I can smell her on you. I've smelled her for weeks." My throat burned, tears prickling at the edges of my vision. I hated how small I sounded, how fragile. Matt's jaw tightened, his eyes darting to the side. "Lila, you're overreacting. It's probably from a client meeting. You know how crowded those conference rooms get. Crowded enough for someone to rub lipstick on your collar." My voice rose, sharp and jagged. "Don't treat me like I'm stupid, Matt. I deserve the truth." He ran a hand through his hair, his calm facade cracking. "You're making this into something it's not. Can we just stop?" I threw the jacket at his feet, the fabric crumpling on the tile. "Tell me who she is. Now." His shoulders slumped, and for a moment, he looked like a stranger. Smaller, older, his confidence drained. "It's not what you think," he said softly, his voice barely audible. "Her name's Claire. She's a paralegal at the firm. It was one night, Lila. One stupid night." The words hit like a punch, stealing my breath. One night. As if that made it better. As if it erased the betrayal, the image of him with someone else, their hands on each other, their lips. I pressed a hand to my mouth, stifling a sob. "Why?" I whispered. "What did I do wrong?" "Nothing," he said quickly, stepping toward me. I backed away, hitting the counter. "Lila, it wasn't about you. It was a mistake. I was drunk, stressed, It didn't mean anything. Didn't mean anything. I laughed, a bitter, broken sound. You broke us, Matt. You broke everything. My mind churned, piecing together the fragments I'd ignored. The late nights, the locked phone, the way he'd stopped touching me. His hands always just out of reach. How had I let it slide? How had I convinced myself it was nothing? I love you, he said, his voice raw. I swear, Lila, I love you. It was a moment of weakness. I'll end it. I'll do whatever you want. I stared at him, searching his face for the man I'd married, the one who'd promised me forever. But all I saw was a liar. His eyes pleading for forgiveness I wasn't sure I could give. How do I trust you again? I asked, my voice trembling. How do I know you're not still lying? He didn't answer, and that silence was louder than any confession. My chest ached, a hollow, gnawing pain. I wanted to scream, to hit him, to collapse into his arms and pretend this never happened. But I couldn't. Not anymore. I turned away, my gaze catching on the photo frame by the sink. Us at the beach last summer, laughing, his arm around me. Felt like a lifetime ago. I need time, I said finally, my voice flat. I need to think. Lila, please, he started, but I held up a hand, cutting him off. Don't follow me, I said, grabbing my keys. I walked out, the cold night air biting at my skin, the streetlights blurring through my tears. I didn't know where I was going, only that I couldn't stay in that house, surrounded by the ghosts of our life together. As I drove, my phone buzzed in the passenger seat. A text from an unknown number. My hands shook as I opened it, the words searing into my mind. He's lying about it being one night. Check his email. Claire. My heart stopped. The road ahead blurred, not just from tears but from the weight of what was coming. Claire. The other woman. She wasn't just a mistake. She was a witness, a betrayer in her own right. And she was offering me a key to the truth Matt was still hiding. I pulled over, my breath ragged, and stared at the phone. My finger hovered over the email app, dread and curiosity warring inside me. Did I want to know? Could I handle it? The car felt too small, the air too thin. I opened the app, my hands trembling as I typed in his password, the one he thought I didn't know. The emails loaded, a cascade of secrets waiting to unravel. And as I scrolled, my heart sinking with every line, I realized the betrayal wasn't just one night. It was months. Months of lies, of stolen moments, of a life I'd never been part of. The world tilted, and I gripped the steering wheel, my knuckles white. Matt hadn't just broken my trust. He'd shattered our entire marriage. And Claire, the woman who'd sent the text, wasn't just his mistake. She was his accomplice, his partner in a double betrayal. The truth wasn't a splinter anymore. It was a blade, and it was cutting me apart.